Hey, Corey Tucker here. Thank you for watching today's episode. Now, we're getting close to the end of season 1, but we have a few more tricks up our sleeves just for you. Now, today's episode is all about what? I don't know. I want you to tell me. I want you to watch it and tell me what the underlying message of today's episode is. I will see you soon. Peace and love. I'm out. As a person, my job is to facilitate people basically having a good time, right? That's really my job. And so it's this weird balance thing you have to do. You have to allow your personality to shine through, but you also have to be aware enough to step out and allow people to step into whatever feeling, whatever reality, whatever thing you want them to be a part of, right? And so a lot of times people will come up to you and say, hey, when you play this song, you know, right in the middle of a song, and I'll say, hey, give me 1 second, can you talk to me after this, you know? And so those things happen. Or a girl might say, can I sing with you? And a lot of times I'll let them come up and sing, only because they're going to remember that moment, right? They're gonna take that moment home and say, man, I got to sing on stage, and this is something I really wanted to do, and that really made my weekend, or that really made my night. And so you always want to leave people with something better than what they came from. So we take all requests. Okay. However, we don't honor our requests. Because they all lay to cry. Cause this time could mean goodbye. Goodbye. This is Stevie Wonder tune, one of my favorite artists of all time. Donny Hathaway is another one of my favorites of all time. Marvin Gaye. Those are the people that I studied growing up. And they have made this, in Motown of course, they have made this impression on my life. And I think how I perform and how I sing. Internally, I'm dying inside. You know, honestly, like, wow, I think there's a lot that's going on in that moment, right? I'm not only listening to the guitar and the notes and everything that's happening, I'm also kind of tapping into my own stuff, my own life, my own things, my own emotions that I go through, right? That makes us artists and creatives, right? So I'm tapping into those things. There's this thing that called nerves that you can take a hold of and use that energy. You can use that nervousness to power through whatever you need to power through, right? So harness that emotion, you know, and use that emotion to bounce you to the next note, right? Now, music is subjective, right? And the beautiful thing about music is that I can sing a song and half the room can love it, half the room can hate it. But you've done your job, right? Because people have an opinion either way, right? You don't want people to be like, oh, okay. You want them to have an opinion either way, right? And so all those things are happening in that moment. I'm exposing myself. I'm using everything that I've learned in my history to hit that note. I'm using the rehearsal that I used, you know, that we did yesterday. I'm using all those things in that moment to get to that next note. How you train yourself is you really have to understand your technique, right, in singing properly. And the beautiful thing about your voice is that it is a muscle, right? And with your voice being a muscle, you can strengthen it, like you can strengthen your arm muscle. You can also overwork it and damage it beyond repair. So there are some things that I'm constantly doing. Like, I forgot my tea today. When I'm performing, I'll always have warm tea because tea lubricates the voice, right? You put a little honey in there. Honey soothes the voice. If you use lemon, the lemon breaks up any mucus in your voice, and that will allow you to access those higher notes easier, right? The other thing that I'm always doing is constantly drinking water. I drink about 120 ounces of water daily. You got to keep your vocal cords lubricated. So those are just some little things you can do that help, right? The other thing that I do is I'll sing a 45-minute set on the treadmill.
While you're running?
Yeah. So try that. I'm deadly serious, because if you can sing a 45-minute set on the treadmill, when you go to sing that song or that set and you're not breathing heavy, you have all this extra capacity, lung capacity that you can access now. Okay? You also have to rehearse that falsetto stuff. You also have to rehearse those full, big voices, you know? And you can get on the piano or on scales, find out where your break is, find out where you need to spend some time, you know what I'm saying? So just there's some great videos on YouTube. Just type in, you know, practice falsetto, practice full voice, right? And just run those daily. I think there are a couple secrets to being a good vocalist or a great vocalist. And I think you hit upon one of those things, right? One of those things is you know, trusting your gut and being authentic in the moment, right? And allowing the soul of who you are be present in that moment, in that note. And allowing each phrase that you sing have a life of its own. Each phrase you sing should have a life of its own. So it should be able to stand on its own, right? And so if you can access the emotion of that song and the emotion of your own life, and you can send that out to people, that, I think, is you got your Aretha Franklins and your Donny Hathaways and your Stevie Wonders and, you know, your Bob Dylans, who doesn't have a great voice, right? But he's able to harness his emotion, you know, in that performance. I did. I spent about 3 years as a vocal music major, and so I was singing stuff like Ave Maria, stuff like that, you know, and decided I didn't want to do the opera thing, and just came out with a Bachelor of Arts degree. But I did. I spent 3 years in college as a classical music major. From the time I was about 6, I was on stage singing and performing in choirs and all kinds of different ways. I had a choir teacher from like 8th grade to 12th grade who taught me really how to put together a show and then take that show on the road.